One more degree and Barbara wins, literally, which, no, we don't want that to happen. One more after that and I win. So let's aim for that one. It is Thursday, September the 9th, and got to welcome along everybody that's joining us this morning on Facebook Live. It is an absolute pleasure to have you guys joining us today because, believe me, I'm really, really elated. Not only do I get to get up close and personal with my own personal physician, pretty much, Dr. John, but also the whole band from Uncle Watson's Widow. Now, you know Uncle Watson's Widow. You request so much of their work, and I'm absolutely elated to be able to bring this interview to you today. Restaurant quality, got to be honest with you. If you're going to join us a little later on over there on YouTube, you know what to do, right? You do. Yeah, sub, thumb, bell. Bingo. Bell notifications for when we have important people like Dr. John and the band Uncle Watson's Widow, and believe me, you're going to love it. You really are. Let's kick this off. Coming out of...
Just one at the playground.
Oh, it jumped in there.
Yeah.
It did. How are you going there, Barbara?
Oh, good, thank you.
Nice. Got to thank everybody joining us this morning.
Hi, Cheryl.
Believe me,
Nice
you're
to see
going
you,
to love this
sweetheart.
one. Cheryl's online. Nice to have Cheryl on board. Guys,
Sean.
welcome to
Hi, Sean.
Galaxy.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Good morning.
Hey.
Good evening. I love talking to Grant because it's tomorrow there.
What's going to happen?
So it means we're okay.
Yeah,
'Cause
you are.
tomorrow's already there.
Yeah,
Here we are. They're
literally.
okay,
And
that's for
guys,
sure.
I'm going to send you the lotto results in the weekend, and if you go ahead and buy the tickets, you never know, you might actually win. It would be a good experiment, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I would move to New Zealand in a second. That's a fact.
Well, I tell you what, we would love to have you here. We really, really would. And we're going to talk about that. Nice to have Cheryl Arnold on board and also Sean Simpson. Look, darling, we love you. We really, really do. And you're going to love today's interview. Coming out of North Carolina, seems like we know almost everybody there. Almost. Maybe a couple of doors down. Yeah, almost. It feels like it anyway. You know Terry Van Cannon, don't you?
Quite well, yeah. I've known Terry for years.
Nice.
Can that guy play a slide, a lap steel, or what, man? Holy moly.
Guy is an absolute master. He really, really is. And I think he's doing something at the moment with Bob Margolin from...
Yeah.
Yeah, believe me. How's the scene
just
going
one
over
big
there for you guys?
family.
Yeah. Are you doing any live stuff at the moment?
We're working on it. We've been getting offers pretty regularly, but I'm getting ready to have some surgery done tomorrow that's going to take me out for a few weeks. So we're not booking anything until I'm recovered because,
Right.
Yeah.
John,
I don't want to get up on stage looking like, Quasimodo or something.
yeah, exactly. Besides, those gowns don't do anything for your ass, really, do they?
They do nothing. Yeah, what ass.
But John, this is life-saving, not life-threatening, isn't it?
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. It's just I got this thing that turned to skin cancer, and if I don't take it off, then it will be bad.
Yep.
So it's got to go.
Yep. Totally
And I've
understand.
been kind of obsessed about that for a few weeks here, but it'll stop tomorrow.
Let's go live to the desk. I've got to let you guys know, 75 countries this morning are tuned in. How many cities?
Cool.
292.
And 292 cities around the world are tuned in right now.
893 cities.
Wow.
No, actually, I've been to at least one of them.
Let's go to it. Oh, okay, that didn't work. But okay. The engineer's having a laugh with me, that's what it is. You're right, here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today over in North Carolina, we're joined, and let's run it down. Dr. John Epstein is joining us, Becca Moss is joining us, Steve Jones, and Kim King, aka Uncle Watson's widow, and it is an absolute pleasure to have these guys on board this morning. Nice to have you guys here. Welcome to Galaxy.
Thank you very much.
Now, Becca, I want to kick this off straight away with you, Becca, because believe me, I am absolutely fascinated with your work, your voice. Now, tell me, how long have you been singing?
Maybe about 7 years or so. Not too long, actually.
Really? That does surprise me, because to me, and believe me, I've been an engineer now for about almost 40 years, and I've worked with some of the biggest bands in the world, and every now and again, I hear something in a band that absolutely grabs my attention. You voice did that, and 7 years, believe me, I thought you were far more seasoned than that.
Well, I appreciate that. But no. I worked really hard to keep up with these guys, though. Most definitely.
Believe me, I get it, I do, Becca, but at the same time, what introduced you to this game?
A mutual friend of me and John's, actually.
Who you probably know because he works with Dale. It's Dale Cole.
Okay.
Works with Terry.
Yeah.
You know Dale.
Yeah, we do know Dale.
He found me singing karaoke in a dive bar, and the rest is history.
And then I said, why in God's name are you singing karaoke in a dive bar?
I went yesterday.
So come be in my band.
Dive bars are the best place to sing karaoke.
Well, yeah.
Dive bars in Tokyo specifically.
Okay. Well, that's cheating.
Yeah, believe. Hey, listen, I've met some really nice people in dive bars in Tokyo. I have.
And you do.
Yeah, but again, not singing karaoke. I was drinking sake and stuff like that while I was over there. Now, having said that, guys, it's an absolute pleasure to have Uncle Watson's widow here. John, it is always a pleasure, and as we were mentioning pre-show, that you're heading into the operating surgery tomorrow, so we want to wish you the best right off the bat, right there.
I appreciate that, man. I'm glad we were able to get this to happen before I had that done, because, boy, the timing couldn't have been awful with our record just coming out. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
time to take a month off.
And
By the way, John, I just have a couple things for you to sign before you leave tonight.
Oh, okay. No
yeah,
problem.
Steve, does it have last will and
We
testament
need
written
a
on
couple more cookies there.
it? Now you're talking. Now you're talking, John. Medicinal cookies, are they?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
We're enthusiastic, medicinal people around here. Except for Becca.
Oh, well, 3 out of 4 is not bad.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm singing you out because you're the only one that's got any damn sense. For now. We're working on that.
Well, here's one for you. Here in New Zealand, we're actually looking at the moment of loosening up the marijuana laws, literally. We're starting to produce oil and stuff for medical purposes, you know what I mean? Had an old fella, and this really happened. I was walking down the road the other day here in town, and you know these old guys that drive around in what looks like old people golf cart kind of deals? You know, the sidewalk surfy kind of guy, you know what I mean? Complete with, I'm not kidding you, complete with the flag, the whole little deal, and he's racing up behind me, and he's yelling at me going, Grant, 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 and I'm going, what's the matter, bro? And he goes, you know this new marijuana thing? And I went, yeah. And he says, the new marijuana oil deal. And I went, yeah. He goes, it's good for your joints.
It is different opinions. I caught that. Yeah, North Carolina is funny about that, where you have legal sales of all kinds of cannabis products except marijuana.
Okay.
You know, and that's only a matter of time because eventually somebody in our legislature, regardless of how brick-like they are, will realize that they're losing all kinds of money to other states simply by keeping it illegal.
Well,
You know?
John, didn't Tennessee for a long time have this, you could make it over here as long as it's legal, but you can't drink it kind of deal?
Yeah.
And they've only just recently loosened up that deal, haven't they? So,
Right.
maybe, but let's not take as long as what Tennessee did to be able to do something about having it, a supplement.
Right. I mean, there's places here in North Carolina that alcohol was still illegal to sell on. Well, some was all the time.
Now they're going to legalize marijuana on the local Indian reservation next year.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Cherokee, yeah.
I like the Cherokee, except for the whole poking the bear thing. They need to leave the bear alone. But other than that, I dig the Cherokee.
Fair enough too. And it's sort of similar to what they're doing in Canada as well. And believe me, the local natives over there are absolutely creaming it. I can see the Maori here in New Zealand doing the same thing as well, so good deal, whatever works, right? Let's get it out there. Now, Tommy Rojo, nice to have you on board as well, Tommy. Now, at the same time, guys, we kick this show off with Lady Luck. Who's going to explain the song?
It's a snappy little number in E minor. It was written originally by a pair of brothers over in Scotland named Alan and Steve Nemo, and just never got any traction for them. So, and I did that a lot with this particular album, because what I was doing was trying to have Uncle Watson's Widow become a band in an organic way. Right? Rather than say, okay, I'm going to hire you and I'm going to hire you. I just kept inviting people I respected and wanted to play with to the studio with me until these guys would not go away. And then I decided I had a band. And there you go.
There you go.
So we finished up the album by doing one of my tunes and some really obscure kind of cover stuff and rewrites of old music just to get them used to how I produce. And now we're in the middle of writing and pre-production of album number 2.
Nice. Now I'm kind of hoping.
Yeah, lickety split.
I'm kind of hoping. John, I'm kind of hoping that you're going to send me a few copies of this so that we can give them away, do a Uncle Watson's Widows promotion, all that sort of stuff. What do you reckon?
I reckon there's some floating towards you now. But I will send you some more, because I send both you and Barb a copy.
Nice,
already.
Nice.
But I'll put a box together and send it. In fact, we tried to send you a poster the other day, just a little poster. And said, hey, thank you for your support. Went to the post office. They wanted $200 for me to mail it to you. So I'm thinking of putting it in a bottle, throwing it in the ocean, and you can just wait. It'll get there.
What did you do? Did you seal
$200 for a poster?
Did you seal it with some of that supplement that we've been talking about?
I was blown away, man. I really was.
Yeah, believe me. I tell you what, if I'd known that and received it, I'd smoked it just to check it.
And for some reason the CDs are I can mail those for fairly cheap. So I don't know what the hell the deal is with. Maybe it's the size or something.
Size matters.
Well, apparently I keep trying to tell the wife that, she keeps laughing at me.
That's what she said.
Yeah, she goes, it's not
size matters.
Yeah, my wife would say to me, it's not the size that matters, it's how you use it. If you use it.
That's
yeah, exactly. But you got to keep it. You got to keep practicing.
Exactly.
Practice makes perfect.
There you go. Now I've got a fan question for you guys, and Kim, it is an absolute pleasure to meet you. I can just see you every now and again from between a little brown grey spot right there.
Can you see me better now?
Yeah, much better. Now, guys, how do we get hold of you? Are you guys on Instagram? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter? But more importantly, does anybody respond?
Yes, we do.
That's all of them.
If anybody who writes to us at our email address or on our Facebook page, we do respond. It might take a while because a lot of times it ends up in spam because rock and roll type people have really screwed up usernames.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, that's like Barbara. Hers is Gemma for fun.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
That sounds like a movie.
Well, no, it sounds like a porno site, actually.
Yeah, exactly. But when I was a kid in school, I had a pair of twins in my class named Candy and Taffy Apple. Now tell me they did not become porn stars.
Here's a true story for you then. Coming out of Idaho, a pig farmer over there, he was really, really set on having a couple of boys, and they were having twins, so he absolutely was set, done deal on having boys, right? Didn't quite work out that way, and ended up calling them, and I'm not joking with you, his last name was Hogg. He's a pig farmer, and what does he name his daughters? Ima and Yura.
Oof.
Oh. Oh, boy, but
I was afraid he'd call him.
so Dad's an asshole, is he?
I was afraid he was going to name him Idaho.
Idaho.
Idaho? Yeah.
God, it's beautiful out there.
Yeah, but
Beautiful country.
Yeah.
Full of lunatics, but beautiful country.
don't worry, I've got a white van out there with plenty of guys in long white suits waiting for me as soon as I finish this show. So we're all good. We really are. Joan, it's nice to have you on board, Joan. Absolutely love your work. I really, really do. And thank you for joining us. Now, we started the show off, of course, with Lady Luck. So let's move on into a few nasty dogs. I know a couple of those, actually. They can be very nasty, especially if you break into our property at night time. Believe me, you'll find out how nasty they can be. So, nasty dogs, funky kings, tell me all about this, because I'm very, very interested in the lyrics. So tell me about that.
Well, that's actually two separate ZZ Top songs that we smushed together. Nasty Dogs and Funky Kings is a song that I have been trying to get a band to play with me for decades. And these two guys are the only people that have ever said, okay, you know, and off we went. And when we started thinking about Billy Gibbons' guitar playing and how utterly distinctive it is, right? You just can't miss it. And he pretty much had his say on the solos on those tunes, so we shouldn't do it, which is how we got Precious and Grace, which is off of another ZZ Top album, stuck in the middle instead of the guitar solo, and then instead of a guitar solo on that, we got our friend Rob to play sax. And, you know, that's basically how that happened. And he sang it and played bass.
Yeah. There's actually a really cool story behind Precious and Grace. I don't know if you know this, but Billy Gibbons and Dusty were headed to like Dallas to buy a bass guitar, and they were in like a big, it wasn't a flatbed Ford like it says in the song, but they were driving along. As they were coming back, they met two hitchhikers, and they picked them up, and they happened to be named Precious and Grace, but they were not the hot, beautiful women you would think of. One of them had a scar on their face. They were kind of rough, and then they kind of talked to them about, hey, let's go back in this little dark place and, you know, park the car. As they went back there, some dude was standing there, silhouettes, like you know, Precious and Grace, is that y'all? And they basically threw the girls out of the car and kind of headed on their way, you know.
So not nearly as romantic as I made it out to be in the song, huh?
So that was their adventure.
Well,
You do not want to be in the middle of nowhere with a guy getting ready to jump you in Texas. You just don't.
Nope.
yeah,
You just don't.
believe me, I know what you're talking about. But Steve, I'm going to have to talk to Billy about this. I actually know Billy and quite well, to be honest with you. I've actually worked with him in the past. So I'm going to have to ask him about this one night when he's...
Yeah, please do.
Yeah,
That's the story I found.
Okay.
There's no question that Billy Gibbons is probably the guitar player that influenced my guitar playing the most, for sure. Even though I listened to all kinds of other stuff, it all boils down to Billy Gibbons in the end, which is really kind of a tribute to him.
Okay,
You know.
well, I'm going to show you something very, very shortly. But first of all, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. Here's Uncle Watson's Widow and Nasty Dogs, Funky Kings. It's, yeah. Going to show you something.
Yeah. You know, zip.
This is,
Oh, there you go.
that's Barbara's concert ticket.
Okay.
I was the engineer at that show.
You engineered. Oh, cool.
Nice.
Cool.
So,
Very
yeah.
It's a bit dusty.
And I do from time to time catch up with Billy and have a chat with him, and you know.
Mine the other day.
Of course, you know he's a car freak.
Yes, he's a car freak.
So believe
And
me.
guitar freak.
Yeah.
The only man I know who has an emergency joint built into his guitar.
True.
He does. It's one of his Telecasters. It's got a little plastic plate over where the pickup's supposed to be, and there's a joint in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just in case, you know.
Yep.
Might be somewhere where that would come in handy.
Yeah.
You never know. You never know.
They could have shared Precious and Grace.
Should have.
Wouldn't have gone any different though.
So tell me, guys. Anybody there a vegan?
Beautiful day. Thank you for joining us every
No, you're all meatahologists.
Yeah, his
I love cheese.
wife's.
My wife's vegetarian, but no.
Okay.
My daughter's occasionally vegetarian, often vegan, and relapses a lot when she's in a hamburger place.
Right, of course. Yeah. Okay. No, the reason I'm asking is, has anybody tried a vegan sausage?
Oh,
I
yeah.
have, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Are they made of real vegans?
No, they're not real vegans because, ironically, vegans aren't vegan. So.
I was talking to a young lady the other day who said she was a vegan. I said to her, "Do you guys hang out?" And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Do you go to the pub? Do you, get together and have, meetings and stuff?" She goes, "Oh, yeah, we do that." "Why?" I says, "Well, the only place I ever see you is on the news."
Yes.
Yeah, well, at the same time, I mean, if they do go to the pub and hang out, I mean, you know what happens when there's too much alcohol? Usually it ends up in the car park, right?
Yep.
Yeah, is that still called having a beef?
Yeah. Yeah. Having a beef.
Isn't it?
Yeah, slapping the chops, you know.
What do the vegans have? They don't have beefs. They have,
Maybe lettuce head.
down in the parking lot having a beef substitute.
Let's go back to the desk. That's right. You're right. You're at Galaxy 107 FM. 13 away from lunchtime, noon here in New Zealand, and 17.5 degrees. Calling it 18 degrees. Only one more degree, and it gets the Barbaras. I see in the news this morning
Yes,
that
like a temperature poll goes.
the-
18 degrees. And that's like mid-70s.
yeah, something like that actually. I see in the news this morning that Aucklanders, being good now, are allowed to have takeaways. They do that in prison as well, you know. They allow you to have takeaways every now and again. And speaking of, no, I'm not
So
even.
you have a writing staff or what? 'Cause where do you come up with this?
Believe me, if I had a writing staff, they'd never be able to catch up. I used to do stand-up comedy, to be very honest with you,
Really?
back in the day.
I've always admired that. It's got to be so hard, man.
But it's just being able to read the situation and adapt to it. You're a musician, you should know that.
Yeah, but I'm adding depth with the guitar, not what I'm saying.
Well, just another tool, you know what I mean? On stage with a microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what most of them said at the end of the show too. Another bloody tool on stage with a microphone. Literally. Now, at the same time, guys, and believe me, I do think of everything pretty much off the top of my head. It's just the way the conversation goes, how we can shape it and make it, you know, without any swear words. So I'm sure Becca understands that.
I do now.
Yep. But I got to be honest with you, Becca, I encourage as many swear words as possible. I don't mind.
Okay, so you can say whatever you want.
Sweet.
Yeah, there's a good word.
Damn's a good word?
Yeah, damn's a good word. Now, having
I need someone else to do it first. Just.
Here you go. Here you go. Damn.
just to test the water, give it a damn. Absolutely.
Over here, we get fined, man. We get fined if we say anything on the radio.
But
Terrible.
I'm sure you know the 7 words you can't say on television, right?
Right.
But there's only like 3 of them over here now.
Okay. Yeah, George Carlin died a few years ago now, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Deflation.
Yeah.
Deflation. That's what it is.
There were some of the things that he said you actually can say. Remember when shit became okay on American TV?
Yeah, it kind of blew my mind.
And then South Park did the episode where they said it like 4,000 times in 22 minutes. You gotta hand it to those guys. They really know how to beat a dead horse, boy.
Absolutely. Believe me, when I'm in the era, literally, where I was actually New Zealand government trained, and one day the boss comes in, he had a very worried look on his face, and he goes, "We can now express ourselves the way we wish." And I went, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You can say 4-letter words on the radio now." I went, "Seriously? You can do this?" I'm brought up old school. You can't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too.
So I still don't do that. I got to be honest with you, but I have trained a couple of shock jocks in the past.
Is that me?
That's it.
That's Becca's phone.
You said more. I do.
Well, you need to fire your personal assistant immediately. I mean, that's just
It's done.
Yeah.
Becca, help yourself, please. We all want to know who's on the other end.
No.
She's not sure she wants to know.
Yeah, right.
Literally. Now, having said that, guys, we discussed very, very quickly about the COVID scene over there. We don't see that this is going to be going on forever and a day. I know it's, we're almost better part of 2 years into it right now, but we do see a light at the end of the tunnel. Now, I have spoken to you about this before, John, but I want to put it to the rest of the band. Once we do get our borders open, would you guys consider coming to New Zealand and playing in front of New Zealand audiences?
Sure.
Certainly.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
Come to New Zealand anyways.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they all said, yeah, absolutely.
we have to get our drummer to agree too.
Yeah. Well, we can drug him and just toss him in the trunk.
Yeah.
No way.
That won't be hard.
Well, I'm kind of worried about
Well, we
it.
got, our drummer Gumby is a truck driver during the day, and he texted me and said he had just gotten home right before we started, so he wasn't going to make it. But I bet you he's listening. So Gumby, if you're not willing to go to New Zealand, we are going to drug you and throw you in the trunk.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about a guy called Gumby in the first place.
He's got to figure out what drug, but yeah.
Hammer works well, apparently.
Rubber mallet.
Point Maxwell's silver hammer.
Yeah, there you go. Now, at the same time, when you come here to New Zealand, we would be honoured to be able to show you around our country.
I would love that. No kidding.
We were talking earlier on about dinosaurs and stuff like that. Well, we kind of still have them here in New Zealand. There's a place called the Marlborough Sound. And I know we still have dinosaurs down there because I spotted my mum down there the other day.
Oh.
Mom was doing that on the laugh.
Yeah, he need a little
Show me when you need it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Mum will get to me later on. Believe me, she's really good with a shoe.
My mom's thing was a spatula, but yeah, I get it.
My mom's thing was a riding crop.
Ooh.
Kim's mom was kinky.
Very cool. But having said that, I was talking to a guy the other day actually, and we were talking about the jug cord. You remember the old jug cord? Yeah. His kid says to him, "Jug cord, Dad? What's that? What's a jug cord?" He had no idea what the jug cord or the value of a good jug cord was.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Is it?
We don't know what it is either. We
Okay, the electric jug used to have a cord that goes into the power point.
oh, right.
Yeah. That, you know, when applied to beer legs, it's sort of, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like the cord on the cords that mice used to have.
The fun cord.
Yeah, believe me, and Grandma or Granddad was bloody handy with those things, I've got to be honest with you. They knew how to wield a good jug cord. These days, luckily, we don't do that to our children, so everything's growing up a little bit since then. Now, guys, Ragged Company. Tell me about this. Who exactly is the Ragged Company here?
I am, in this case. But, yeah, I am.
Okay, well, tell me about the lyrics then, John. How did you come to it?
Were written by Grace Potter, and it's essentially about the realization that while you have spent all this time avoiding looking at yourself and thinking that everything was just fine, in fact, it's not. And the only way to get better is to take a good hard look inside of yourself. That's the thing that runs through all the music I get these guys to do with me. It's all about honesty, kindness, being thoughtful, and playing really loud, obnoxious rock and roll in the process. Because life is all about contradictions, is it not?
Well, pulling back the layers and exposing what you'd never want to expose. Basically.
Correct. And that's exactly what Ragged Company is about. It's about pulling back those layers and looking at yourself and going, oh my God, I've got work I need to do. So I'm nowhere near where I thought I was.
You know, I get that, but Steve, I don't know whether Becca wants you to expose yourself or not. In the meantime, you're right here at Galaxy. Here's Uncle Watson's Widow and Ragged Company. How you feeling, guys? You okay?
Yeah, doing great.
Yeah, you don't need that moonshine yet?
Go to
Okay.
I think so.
I'll turn my ringer off.
turning off the ringer and going to the bathroom.
Not hard.
Would you get a pee jar so she doesn't have to go upstairs?
No. Actually, funny though, my son used to hang out down here.
Is that why?
It's moonshine.
My son used to hang out down here, and when he moved out, I found like 12 fucking 2-liter bottles of piss.
We have this on Facebook. Goodness.
Oh, yum.
What happened?
Where's she?
Steve was saying when he moved
It's
down
in the
there,
kitchen. It's right behind the
his son used to
refrigerator.
use the room, right?
That's where you keep the
And
bottle?
when he moved out, Steve found 12 bottles of
I was
piss,
shocked.
2-liter bottles
I
of
bet
piss.
you were.
I just told the world. Why did you tell the world that?
891 cities.
No.
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 Resolution.
That's almost a milk.
John, it was 291 cities.
Oh, guys, okay, so your secret's still...
Yes.
No, it's not safe. Who am I kidding?
But
Anyhow, it's not your secret, it's your son's.
I will let you know there's over 5 million online right now.
Wow. Hey, everybody.
The guy's
Hey, John.
face.
Steve.
That's like
Tim.
what's the
We play rock and roll.
There you go.
the
There you go.
alternate state motto in North Carolina is 7 million people, 7 last names.
Dear.
My fourth wife, I had to count, found in Illinois called Olney, Indiana.
I
I mean, Olney.
I was about to say she's from
Olney,
Illinois.
Olney, Illinois.
Yeah.
Where I swear to God, everybody in that town was related to everybody else. It was, I mean, no kidding. Everybody that was married was a cousin.
Yeah.
You know, and you look at the generational pictures, and the eyeballs are getting closer and closer together. But yeah, that was a weird town, man. It was like something out of a Stephen King novel.
I bet.
So this is my wife and cousin Beth. Didn't even have to change her last name.
Yeah. But we're kissing cousins.
Oh, kissing's optional.
Yeah.
Daddy says I'm the best kisser.
You know, I mean, North Carolina is actually an incredibly progressive and decent state. It's just, you know, unfortunately, culturally, it's been expressed through things like the Andy Griffith Show and bluegrass deliverance music and things like that.
Andy Griffith.
I love Andy Griffith too, but it's not, you know, that's not real life North Carolina, right? I mean, where we live in the Triad, this is a major metro area, man. There's millions of people within like 50, 60 miles of here.
Oh, so they look close.
But, what happened?
I said I was at Pilot Mountain.
Pilot Mountain, this local landmark
Our
mountain,
newest
looks like a
campaign
giant
town.
breast. It looks like a giant breast sticking out of the forest, doesn't it?
Let's
It
get back
sure
to the
does.
desk, guys.
So now we have
Hey man, I've had people cover my songs, and you know.
That's right. You're right. Here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today I'm absolutely elated. I'm joined by Dr. John Epstein and the rest of the band. Well, you know, a couple missing, but you know, 4 out of 6 isn't bad. And absolutely elated. Now, at the same time, of course, Becca is joining us, Steve, Kim as well. Now, guys, as a team, how long's it been since you've been on stage just lately? Do you think the next time you're going to get on stage it's going to be a little rusty?
Absolutely not. Nope. Nope. Absolutely not. I do not put a rusty band on stage. We're so rehearsed that we'll be doing that stuff in our sleep.
I don't know about you, but I'm well oiled.
And Steve, actually, out of all of us, Steve has probably been the one that's been playing the most recently with his. He's got a band called Leadneck, which is, I believe, the longest running Led Zeppelin tribute band in North Carolina.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay. We've been together for 18 years now.
Boy, you want to see some guys play some Led Zeppelin. Holy moly, man.
Believe me, I'm a
That's
big...
how I got him. I said, oh, you can do that? I want him in my band.
Believe me, I'm a big fan of getting out the lead. I've got to be honest with you. Now, at the same time, we were talking about getting you guys down here in New Zealand. Are you guys up for a few challenges?
Yeah. As long as they don't involve anything from Australia, yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to involve anything from Australia except for maybe going over there, doing a few shows.
It's so funny. I mean, people put you guys together, but there's no way I'm going to Australia.
Well, yeah, I tell you what, if we did, we could do a couple of shows over there only because we like their money, right?
Yeah, we just don't like their animals.
No.
Well, yeah, I told you about koalas. Koalas are horrible, disgusting, filthy creatures that have chlamydia. You don't like
I'm not gonna touch them.
No.
It's true that there's a chlamydia plague in the koala population in Australia. Chlamydia, yeah. Yep, they are nasty, filthy animals.
Dirty whore.
Yeah. Yeah, believe me.
Christians too, apparently.
And then you got to watch out. You got to watch out for those kangaroos as well. They can be very vicious. They will kick you. Yeah, believe me.
I've always thought it was ironic that the world's most poisonous spider was only found in the place where they built Sydney, Australia. I think that's just awesome.
They even built a big building there just to commemorate, a place to go and house spiders.
Yep.
Yeah.
They built that city 10 miles down the beach, no problem.
So what's the challenge?
Well, okay, fair enough.
Look,
While we're talking about Australia,
Well, we're just making fun of
well, of course, believe me, they don't even know how to spell beer.
it. Yeah.
Beer. I'm not.
T-E-R-S.
Well, no, believe me, the first time I went to an Australian pub, I asked for a beer. He gives me a can with 4 X's on it. He goes, it's a brand. Okay, fair enough. Can't you spell? Here's the challenge. Have you guys ever heard of a hoo-hoo grub?
Oh, hoo-hoo grub?
Yeah, spelled H-U-H-U grub.
Hoo-hoo grub. No.
No.
Okay, and believe me, we do this to every band we bring into the country, so be prepared for this. Don't we, Barbara? Literally. And I'll get Barbara to send you the instructional video, so I'm not pulling your leg, but the hoo-hoo grub, you've heard of a caterpillar, right?
Right.
Okay, this is nothing like it. Believe me. It's like a double-decker bus to a mini, to be honest with you. And what you do, and I recommend alcohol before. Most people try during and afterwards as well, but you put the live body in your mouth, rip off the head, don't eat the head. It's yucky. That's why I was asking you about vegans. They won't eat anything with a face on it. So, if you take the head off,
They can eat that.
it doesn't have a head, yeah. But when you crunch down on this, it's like eating creamy peanut butter.
Mm.
I do that.
Is it peanut butter flavored?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
It's a bug.
Yeah, hold on.
I'd eat it.
Yummy gets to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like a grub worm.
Yeah, it's a grub.
Yeah, the indigenous folks of New Zealand, the Maori, actually have them as a delicacy.
It's like peanuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and believe me, here in New Zealand, we have a place down the South Island that does a wild foods festival. Yeah, you're familiar with festivals, right? Kids wandering around, candy flowers, hot dogs on a stick. Yeah, not there. Not there. Believe me, you might find somebody wandering around eating deep fried locusts or something like that.
Bugs on a stick.
Yeah. Yeah. Wild.
That's China.
Brain.
Do they have the
Brain
scorpions
sandwich.
on the stick on the little hibachi grill that they sell on the street?
In Indiana, they have the brain sandwiches festival.
Yeah, fried brain sandwiches.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I'd give
Now,
that a
speaking
go.
of worms, though, I used to watch my grandfather. He would bite the heads off tobacco worms, and the tobacco juice would just squirt all. Oh, it was the craziest thing.
Why did you do that?
To kill them.
Fucking kill them, yeah.
They wouldn't eat the tobacco.
Don't tell their friends.
I can feel the song coming out of that.
Step on them? I don't know.
Yeah.
He's trying to send a message to the other tobacco.
Yeah.
I can hear a song coming out of there when I can.
George, all his friends.
Has anybody there ever heard of Queenstown?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Not Queensland, that's in Australia, the place where guys wander around in dresses and high heels and drive fast and fast cars, call it drag racing, something like that.
Like, kind of like Providence, Rhode Island here.
But Queenstown, it's a boutique little kind of city, well, it's a town wanting to be a city. And the most fascinating thing about Queenstown, besides the people in there, is actually getting in there, because believe me, it's wall to wall, literally, it's mountains everywhere. And the turbulence is fascinating. It really, really is. You can be going from seat to ceiling all the way in there, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Unfortunately.
In fact, I actually had an American next to me the last time I flew in there, rather larger guy. He was white knuckling it, literally white knuckling it going in there, and he looks at me, beads of sweat everywhere, and he says, "Do you think we'll crash?" Said it'll take us right to the scene of the crime.
It's like flying into Guatemala City where you've got volcanoes all around and you just drop into the city and it's like, it is white knuckle.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. My most interesting one, I've got to be honest with you, was Tokyo. I love going there. Have you ever flown into Tokyo?
Mm-hmm.
I have.
Yeah, buildings everywhere, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like flying between the buildings to get to the...
Yeah. Just
It's kind of like in LA where they fly right over that carport when they're landing. I mean, you could actually like stand on the roof of your car and hold your hand up and touch the airplane. I mean, that's crazy.
Where's that? Burbank?
Yeah, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, believe me, I've been in and out of there too. So there's some interesting place. I tell you about Queenstown, and believe me, fascinating place it really is, because all the A-listers, well, once we, pre-pandemic anyway, all the A-listers used to go down there, get away from the paparazzis, the wife, stuff like that. It's one of the boutique little places to go. Shania Twain actually owns property down there. Kevin Costner was down there prior to the pandemic, same with Tom Cruise, Keanu Reeves, those kind of guys. So you never know who you're going to bump into.
So is Queenstown in Australia or New Zealand?
New Zealand.
Queenstown is in New Zealand.
Yes.
Queensland
is in Australia.
Yeah, that's the place with men in skirts.
Yeah.
I dated a girl from Queenstown when I was living in the Sinai for a while.
Okay.
That's how I knew about it.
And I'm not picking on the Scottish either, men in skirts. Actually, I was talking to a lady that was in Scotland not so long ago, and I says to her, I know what Scots men wear under their kilt. And she goes,
I
what?
was aware.
Yeah. She goes, what? And I said, their shoes.
Exactly right.
And that thing, that hairy thing that they have. The
man purse thing.
Yeah, it's a spotter, isn't it? It's called a spotter.
The predecessor of the fanny pack.
It's a reverse fanny pack.
Exactly, it's the place to hold your cell phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, just leave it on vibrate. Literally. Now, guys, as I was saying about Queenstown, you don't know who you're going to run into, but honestly, guys, you don't want to run into me down there.
Well,
Yeah, well, you don't.
Figure out how to get us to New Zealand, and we'll go wherever you want. I'll eat all the bugs you want me to eat.
Yeah, well,
Gumby eat the bugs.
We'll get Gumby to eat the
Gumby
bugs because
can
he's
eat
not
bugs.
here. We'll make Gumby. We're going to make Gumby, our drummer, eat the bugs because he couldn't make it here. So that's how we make up for it. So yeah, we're there.
you guys do realise that you're going to get a copy of this after we do this. Literally, Barbara's going to make it into a movie for you, including... We're going to do some funny photos and everything after this as well. But something new, John, and I'm sure you're going to love this because it's one of the few things in the world that actually makes me look good, is we're going to turn this into a cartoon for you.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
wow.
Nice.
So,
What do you think about that, graphics novel fan?
I'm excited.
Okay.
and you know something? Barbara won't tell me how she does it, but she does a damn good job. You'll love it. You really, really will.
I'm looking forward to it. That's cool, man.
Nice to have Chi on board. Very, very cool. Now, Run Too Far. Tell me about this because I'm absolutely fascinated with this track.
I wrote this song basically the day I realized that all of the aspirations and the ideas I had about what I was going to be when I grew up had all been compromised. And that's when I wrote this song. And I realized that the people who were telling me, man, if you just get out of here and go and do what it is you want to do, you'll be okay, you'll do it. And eventually I believed him, and I did, you know. But it's a song about realizing that you don't get to decide what you're going to become, right? You just choose which path you're going to walk. And then life takes care of the rest.
That's pretty
What did you think when you were singing it? What were you singing about? Because, boy, you sang the crap out of that. Didn't you, though? Yay.
I agree.
Words. Yeah, but for me, and I was talking to Chad when we were shooting the video, and it's kind of funny. For me, it was like you said, compromising, and I think at one point in my life, finding myself in a place where I was like, holy crap, like I'm that person, like,
yeah,
you know, like,
exactly
oh my God. And Chad's interpretation of it was completely different. It's a really cool song like that.
It's good that he does that, but yeah. I mean, as far as what I was thinking when I wrote it, that's more like it. It's like, oh my God, how did I become this guy?
Realizing that I'm my dad as a parent, like what?
I realized I was my dad. You know, I wrote it when my daughter was a toddler, so that's probably what was going on in my head. And I wrote those lyrics years ago and just been sitting on them until I found her.
You know something, and believe me, Becca, I absolutely love your work in this. I really, really do. And at the same time, Kim, you talk too much.
Yeah,
I do. I know.
man.
I know.
It's
So loud.
I inherited this from my mother.
Well, I'm pleased you inherited it from somebody.
He lets the guitar talk.
Yeah, I let the guitar talk.
Run Too Far, most of the lead guitar in that is all Kim.
Exactly. That's why I was waiting for him to chime in here and give us a little bit on this particular track, because I think, Kim, to be honest with you, absolutely expert work, really. And
Thank you very much.
how long have you been playing the guitar?
Well, I'm almost 67 years old.
You are?
Holy
shit.
I've been playing since I was 12.
Okay, so
55 years.
so you've done it a week or two, and believe me.
Yeah, a week or two.
He's almost got it figured out.
Believe me, I'm in the same boat. I've done this a couple of times now, so I'm hoping that I'm going to get an A instead of an F later on down the track.
There you go.
You're right here at Galaxy, with, of course, Uncle Watson's Widow and Run Too Far.
You guys really did this tune justice, and I do appreciate it very much.
It's a good song.
I appreciate you
It is a
bringing us
good
to it.
song.
It's a great song, and literally, you're getting a lot of requests for it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's wonderful.
That's what I want to hear.
You really are.
Yeah, because I've been sitting on this stack of songs that I've had for years now, and was just not ever in a band situation that I could use them. Because when I was in Ohio, I was in like these speed metal bands, and that's not going to work. That song's not going to work in that. And then I started thinking that I really wanted to get these songs recorded, but who do I do it with? And then I started looking around. Actually, I found Kim first by accident, and then Becca through Dale, and Steve, because I remember how I met you, man. It was because I knew you were the singer for Leadneck and that you played harmonica on When the Levy Breaks. And we had to do When the Levy Breaks
Right.
for that song challenge thing at that bar.
Right.
So I asked him to come and play harmonica for us. And he's been here ever since.
Very cool. John, I like your jacket.
Thank you.
That is a really cool jacket.
Rock and roll, man.
Very good.
Yeah, he always dresses to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of...
He calls me a fashion whore, a clothes whore. I can't deny it.
Hey,
Just trying to distract people from actually looking at me.
well, I tell you what, John, I know how to make a hormone. Yeah, not pay her.
They whimper. They just go, aww.
God, behave yourself. Come on.
Aww.
This is a family show.
Oh, it's a family show. When did it become a family show?
It's the time of the
Gosh.
Anybody listening from Ontario, that would be my son.
Yep.
And my grandson, uh-oh.
Yep.
He's getting brought up right.
Oh dear.
So where's John's dog?
Sent him Uncle Watson's widow onesie.
So,
Aw, Alan.
John, I've got a vital question for you.
Shoot,
Where's the dog?
she is at my ex's house
Okay.
because I'm having that surgery tomorrow, so I figured I would just have her go stay with my ex, and because her brother James Brown. Well, with the custody situation is I ended up with China Girl and Kim, my ex, as James Brown. James Brown is a chug. That's half Chihuahua, half pug.
Oh, God, yeah.
A chug.
Dear. I actually met the original James Brown back in the day too.
So is he.
I did too.
That was my very first concert.
Uh,
I was one of the first people to deal with James after he got out of prison. I shot
okay.
a PSA. I do video production. I shot a PSA with him.
Okay. Did you say he feels good?
Yeah, he did.
That's right. You're right. Here we go. It's galaxy107 FM. And Steve, I met James Brown at a WWE wrestling deal.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I
That's
think
really cool.
I think it was at WrestleMania, something like that. And I had.
God, they sold that stuff to you poor people? I'm sorry.
I was a guest.
Now James was he lived in North Augusta, which is in South Carolina, right over the state line. But I went to University of Georgia, and he would come to our football games. And actually, hold on, let me pull this right.
He's getting his stuff now.
Memorabilia. Yeah,
He would do a song called Dooley's Junk, because Vince Dooley was our coach of the Georgia Bulldogs. And he would do this song called Dooley's Junkyard Dogs. I don't know if you can see this. I got a 45 of this, which is...
It's James Brown?
It's James Brown. He would get up on the stands where the cheerleaders were and do Dooley's Junkyard Dogs. Oh, back. Dooley's Junkyard Dogs. Get on the bag. Who's that? The whole thing. It was really, really cool. But after he got, he had a little trouble. He had to go to jail for a little while. But when he got out, part of his release was he would do public service. So he did a PSA, and I was doing video production at the time for the local company there in North Augusta. So we met him, and we followed him around for it seemed like forever. He was looking for a location. So he had a limo, and the judge who actually put him in jail was now his manager. So when he finally found this shack, the one thing he refused to do was an anti-drug PSA. So it was about staying in school. So he found this beat up shack, and he stood on the porch of this shack and did hey kids, stay in school. And he had on the white, the jumpsuit thing, and he did this great turn. Oh, by the way, I feel good. It was so cool. But by the end of it, I was like, the manager said, I need all the footage, so we couldn't keep anything, which really bummed me out. But I said, Mr. Brown, I have nothing to show for this, and if you don't mind, could I take a picture? And he's like, sure. So he popped this pose on the back on the front of that stretch limo. It was so cool. So that's the one thing I pulled away from it, was that nice photo of James, which got stolen over the years.
That figures. Yeah. Doesn't that just figure?
Well, I tell you,
James Brown story.
I tell you, Steve, I was a guest at this wrestling place, and he came in, and he's meeting everybody out the back, and he is running past everybody. He comes to me, and he looks at me, he looks up and down, and he goes, "You're no bloody wrestler." And I went, "No, sir, I'm a radio announcer." He goes, "Oh, move on."
You're not a wrestler.
Yeah, you're not a wrestler. Fair enough. Guys, we are going to have to wrap it up here, and I've got to thank you all for making this interview absolutely fantastic. Love to meet every one of you. Now, at the same time, John, are you making new music? Are you going to be releasing any new music in the near future?
Yep, we're four of us are now in the process of getting the next album together. Do we have all the songs picked out?
No.
Almost.
No, that seems to be the longest process
Yeah,
of it all.
figure out what we're going to do. And this one's going to be primarily original music. Because now I know these guys know what they're doing in the studio, and I know they know what I'm asking them to do. Which, when you're spending money to make a record, that's an important thing. So, and I like them, and they're my friends, and I can deal with them being in the studio with me for hours on end without wanting to, hit them on the head with the guitar. So that goes a long way.
It does.
Yeah, I tried to do
It goes
that.
both ways.
I tried to do that. I've tried to do that, but the drummer wouldn't let me, man.
Fair enough, too. But what I'm reading here is that maybe, just maybe, you guys will come back again and we'll release more music. What do you reckon?
We will, absolutely.
Very.
We're hoping to, get this next album done within the next 6 months or a year, I think. With all the COVID stuff going on and things getting shut down and opening up and shutting down and opening up, it's been really tough to organize anything. But, we've taken the time to do arranging and work out, parts and who's going to sing what and all that sort of thing, which is actually more pre-production than we've really ever done at this point. So that makes me feel good because, if we already know what we're doing before we get to the studio,
That's so helpful.
that could be really a neat experience.
Believe me, as an engineer, I'd appreciate it too. Merv Penny has joined us this morning, a Kiwi artist too, by the way, and you know something? If you do come here to New Zealand and play in front of New Zealand audiences, I think Merv Penny would be a perfect curtain raiser, a perfect accompaniment for your shows. I really, really do. So we'll have to watch this space. Sean Simpson, love you, babe. We really, really do. Guys, please don't go anywhere just yet. We're going to do a couple of crazy things after we do this interview, but thank you so much for joining us. Becca, Steve, Kim, and John, thank you so much. And welcome to the Galaxy family, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Grant. Thanks, Barb, who we can't see, but
No,
love
you
you.
will in a minute.
You will in a minute. She's right here. But in the meantime, let's go back to the other studio. Here's Delight and Groove in the Heart.